Stanley Atkins here about murder in Jackson County, Georgia, that judges and attorneys has killed Robin Guyton Atkins in 2016. It is 2018 now. Today is her 2-year death anniversary. And what is murder? Murder is definition of the unlawful killing of someone, premeditation. How many times, Alexander, did you and Mingledorff and McLaughlin and all of you people drag Robin in the courtroom? Sometimes she couldn't even walk. Many times she was throwing up. How many times did my son crutch or wheelchair in the courtroom because of you guys? Mr. Supreme Court, Curry Mingledorff, Wayne McLaughlin, Robert Alexander. Your wife, teacher Deborah Finch, my son's attorney, knew about all this and didn't do anything. And you did this for your ego and to keep your cash register running. And you knew you were killing Robin. You knew you were destroying my family's assets, my children's assets. Just for example, you selling my son Starbucks stock that I had built up for him for years. And in the courtroom, you, and I have court reporters reported this and many things. I've got tons of things to you, and I'm going to be posting it. I've got my website set up now. And of course, my book, I'm putting, it'll be the thickest book. I may have to write 10 just to, so it won't be so thick. But you quoted, because I was trying to get my son out of the 2-story area that he was living in because his mom put him there so she could pay attention to her boyfriend him at Osby downstairs. And my son could not get up and down by himself, and I have no idea how she actually got him up there. But I filed a petition to get him on the first floor because she would actually leave him and go to the grocery store, shopping, or wherever she was during the day, and leave him up there alone. Well, you got up in court and said, you know, I said if there's a fire, that what is my son going to do? Well, you got up in there in court and said, well, if there's a fire, then you got to go upstairs and rescue your son also. No, you don't. You know why? Your son can walk and your son can run, and he don't have crutches and he don't have a messed up leg. You know, Alexander, you're nothing. And Curry Mingledorff and Miss Alexander, because you're part of him. You're one. You're nothing but evil people. Deborah Finch, Wayne McLaughlin. And murder, under the definition, goes on to explain that it is hell on earth. It's a nightmare. It's an ordeal. It's a trial. It's misery, torture, agony. And you put my wife and my family through all this, Alexander, just for your damn fucking ego. It killed Robin. You tried to shoot me and kill me. You delayed a game hunt that I was taking my son on Missouri. You said my son couldn't go. Who the fuck are you? Well, of course, he couldn't go because my wife, you took him away from me. So it was delayed a year later. A year later, him and I went and had a massive automobile accident in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which we wouldn't have been involved in if we had went earlier. And we should have been killed. But God spared us. You're sorry, Alexander. You and a whole bunch of you in Jackson County, Sheriff Mangum, Speed in Banks County, all of you are nothing. You know, you say I'm a bad person. Let me ask you something. In the last court, in the papers, you put in there, I'm going to read a lot of things you put in there. But you said I couldn't sue these people. You know, if these people had nothing to do bad to my son or my family, then why should I want to sue them? Obviously, they done something. I never put anybody in anything. I never had anybody in court with me. Robin had an entourage with her. She needed it. I didn't, because I didn't do anything. She did it all. But her sister, Shelley, and her husband, Jim Edwards, Ann Guyton, Bill Guyton, the mom and dad, Vince Guyton, the brother, Michael Bay, her so-called fiance. You put yourself in there, Alexander, personally, and your firm. Amy Scott Crawford and their immediate family. Then I couldn't sue. Why? I couldn't sue them. They must have done something bad. Yeah, they did. They abused my son. And I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to read you some things that Robert Alexander said in one of our last major court. Said, since the entry of the final judgment and decree of the court, there's been a material change in circumstance that has substantially affected the minor child, such as a modification of child custody is warranted. This is when I had custody of my son. He's trying to take him back from me, as he did. This was the 4th time that I bought my son back. The father is mentally ill, he quotes, and his mental facilities and rational thinking process has substantially deteriorated since entry of the final judgment and decree. This is all from Robert Alexander. Robert Alexander is a fucking psychiatrist. He's fucking everything. He's anything he wants to be. He said the father has become obsessed with the facts underlying parties' divorce action, despite the fact that the parties has been divorced now going on a year and a half. Who's obsessed? You are, Alexander. Because you ain't got no money out of me yet. You still keep trying. You still keep filing papers against me. And this is what this is all about. The father continuously refers to facts, events, transactions, and occurrences that predate the final decree of divorce in repetitive circular manner, which, upon information and belief, is a direct reflection of the petitioner's pervasive, debilitating mental illness, which continues to get worse with time. Oh, you are really following me, aren't you? Getting worse with time? And you're the one out killing Robin and my family and trying to kill me. I almost killed my son. The father has become strangely obsessed with the responsive attorney. That's you fucking right. And I'm going to stay that way. Going to the extreme and outrageous lengths to seek a twisted type of vengeance for pervasive wrongs that occurred during the divorce action. You got it. And you continued. And I'm continuing. The father has failed to adequately supervise the minor child. Yeah, I have. And his mom can bring him to clubs, and his mom's friends can bring him to clubs and get him drunk, and his moms can lead him wherever she wants, when she wants, drinking. The father has failed to adequately supervise the child and care for the special medical needs of the child during his custodial periods. Really, Alexander? You were there? Really? Which has had a substantial detrimental effect on the child? Really, Alexander? Explain, please. I want you to get on YouTube and I want you to explain all these accusations. Okay, instead of in front of your fucking little judge friend Mingledorf that you fuck in the ass and he sucks your dick. Okay? Why don't you explain this to the public, okay? The father knowingly permitted the minor child to engage in unsafe and unhealthy activities. I did? Were you there? What were the unsafe and unhealthy? Unhealthy, you'll catch AIDS from Mingledorf's ass, okay? And that I have exposed the minor child to improper stimuli? Really? What is a stimuli that the judges, all you judges do naked in the chambers? after hours or during hours. And he has otherwise conducted himself as a best buddy to the minor child rather than a father. Really? Yeah, you got it. I have. He is my best buddy. Him and I used to tell bedtime stories at night to put him to sleep when I was little. He loved hearing them. But you took all that away from him. This, guys, is when my son was 13 years old. This was, he's age 13 when these charges were petitioned. And the father has attempted to poison, alienate, and estrange the minor child from the mother. Really? Really? What did she and her friends continue and you try to continue to do and did? You bastard. As a result of the foregoing, it is in the best interest of the minor child that the court modify custody and grant the respondent sole legal and physical custody of the minor child, with the father either exercising no visitations. You son of a fucking bitch, you bastard. Whatsoever. No visitation whatsoever. Or in the alternative, exercise only supervised visitation. Supervised? Yeah, supervised from you guys. In a controlled environment such that the minor child can be protected from the fathers. Protected from me. Protected, says, from my pervasive and damaging mental illness and accompanied symptoms thereof. You ain't seen mental illness, Alexander, like get you somewhere alone, just you and me, behind a barn. You want to see mental illness? You'll see it. And let's see. You wanted all this stuff, all this money, $44,109.52. Court modified custody and grant the respondent mother sole legal and physical custody of the minor child, with the petitioner having no visitation or an alternative supervised visitation. All these things you said of me in this report, Alexander, and I'm going to flip the phone and I'm going to let people see this is the actual court. Let's see. Here, I got a notice of deposition right before this court date. Now, depositions are, at least I believe, legally like 10 days out. And here's one. Let me show you the date. That is dated August the 20th at 4:01 p.m. Now, I'm supposed to be the next day, August 21st, which is 13 hours later, at 2:30 at this gay doctor's address, which was our psycho that Mingledorf and Alexander put us through, the whole family. Cost several $1,000s to see who was crazy, and that's another story. I'm gonna post all that too, both all three of our information. But gave me 13 and a half hours. Well, the next day went down to the courthouse and filed a motion to cancel deposition. And this was at 8:17 in the morning. 8:17 in the morning. Well, I was on my way to my own doctor's appointment in Atlanta about noonish or something, and I got a call from Alexander's secretary and said that I had a conference call between him and the judge. We got on the phone and was trying to convince the judge, Mingledorff, his buddy. Now listen to this shit. He's a Supreme Court judge. He knows the fucking law. And he knows that I don't have to go with that soon of a notice. Here's Harvey's notice of deposition. Asking him, this is his scheduled, he was sending him a schedulization here, but he was telling Mingledorff, which this is all set up, of course, that I had to go to this deposition. I told, because I already knew the law, I told Judge, I'm not going. I said, I'm going to a scheduled doctor's appointment myself. Well, can't you cancel? I said, no, I'm not canceling. It's not, I can or cannot. Of course I can cancel. I can turn around and not go. I'm not going to. I'm not going to this deposition. You can't make me. And he said, what time are you going to be back? I said, I don't know. I got to pick my son up about 3 o'clock. And Alexander, listen to this son of a bitch. This is all of what this whole thing's about. He come immediately on and said, that's no excuse, Your Honor. It's no excuse. This is what I'm fighting about. My son's number one. It's the only excuse not to go to the deposition. My son's more important. But not to you bastards, he wasn't. And so finally Mingledorff, seeing he wasn't getting anywhere with me, that I knew what the hell I was talking about, and he said I didn't have to go, which he shouldn't even called. A judge shouldn't even took this call. But because it was buddy-buddy, he took the call. And here's an affidavit from Rex Yoakley about Mehmet Osby, how Mehmet cussed him out one time. Mehmet proceeded to be such a nice guy out here in life. In front of everybody, in front of Robin too. Let's see what this is. Here's an affidavit from my doctor saying Mr. Stanley X has been a patient of the Emory Clinic. This is where I had to go to prove that I'm not crazy. Department of Psychiatry and Behavioral Science since August 08. He has been treated for a mood disorder with medication therapy since that time and has compliant with all the recommended treatment. He has been symptom-free as documented since October 28, 08. As evidenced by his mental status exam at that and subsequent visit, Mr. Atkins has not suffered from any apparent thought or congenital order. His examination is evaluated at his regular scheduled quarterly appointment for mediation. Medication management is as follows. On August 12th, 21st, 12. This is that same day that I went, was going during the deposition. I was alert, cooperative, oriented person, place, time, and situation, appropriately dressed and groomed, psychomotion activity within normal limits, behavioral, calm and appropriate to interview, good eye contact and engagement, speech normal rate, rhythm, volume, tone, and privacy. Mood, in parentheses, great. Full and reactive. Thought process and logical thought, content, future, and self-oriented without delusions or disturbances in perception, insight, and judgment. Okay, Mr. Alexander, you're educated in 8 years. I think these people are psychiatrists. So your shit that you put out, you evaluated me like these people did, and your opinion of your education as a psychologist was what you said, that I was mental. You fucking right, I'm mental. I'm fucking berserk. So I'm gonna tell you, you better fucking stay out of my damn way. I've got no use for you, asshole. Let's see, here's something from Shelly Edwards. I got a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna post it. Where she stole stock from me. Where the Mill Real Deals has lead paint in it like crazy, especially up in the where the antique place is. It has asbestos. When you're downstairs at Real Deals, when you walk back to the back, if you look up the pipes up there, this fibrous asbestos. But anyway, my next video is going to be about rape, how Alexander raped my son and my wife, and I got all paperwork on that too. Have a good day.